All right, this morning we are talking about stop hiding what God has given you. Stop hiding what you have. And this is day one of me talking about this for maybe 5 days. This is a little bit different. I'm going live to talk about this. And actually, let me hit my live here um, on Instagram. So I'm here on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and I'm talking about stop hiding what you have and felt impressed to share this. So, just for those who don't know my background, I am a business coach now, but I've been a pastor for the last 15 years. And recently I posted a video, and the video said, "Stop being humble." Now, that would probably seem to be the last thing you would expect a pastor to tell you: stop being humble. But I felt like this was something that I needed to share because I've been hearing people say some variation of false humility for so long, some variation of it. And as I posted the video, the resonance, feedback, it testified to the fact that a lot of us can relate to that. We have that humility, the humility that says, when someone gives us feedback on what we bring to the table, we say things like, "Oh, I'm not. I don't really have that much. I'm not that big a deal. I'm just a whatever. I don't. I can't do this like that person. And whatever." We use humility in such a way that we downplay what we have. We talk down who we are. We don't step up to use what we have. And it's one of the things that I see over and over in my work, that I think it's some form of religious programming, that people with amazing talents and gifts and stories are actually hiding it and pushing it down and pushing it to the side because of wanting to be humble. And I just want to give you permission to stop being humble. Stop thinking that you have to talk down and minimize and say crazy things about what you have. It's interesting. I'm in a group with some folks, and someone was talking about what they have, and they said, it's not those that have the most education or whatever that God will use, and I don't really know a lot. And the person who was saying that actually has a PhD, has two masters, and was just like one of the persons that has so many degrees, but they fall into that same trap of, I'm going to be humble and I'm going to say something self-deprecating about myself because that's more holy, and that's the way I'm supposed to do it. And let me tell you, I know I'm on this for a while, and it might seem like I'm on a hobby horse, but let me just tell you why I'm saying this. Because the language we use to talk about what we have actually shapes what we do with what we have. So people who say stuff like that don't end up maximizing what they have. We end up playing small, minimizing, not doing something with it because we talk about it in such a minimal way, in such a self-deprecating way. And by doing that, we're actually hiding. So listen, I'm going to be talking about today, you don't know the value of what you have. That's one of the reasons we're hiding. Let me tell you why I'm having this conversation. We're going to look at the parable of Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to verse 30. Can someone put that in the chat for me? Matthew 25, verse 14 to verse 30. We're going to be looking at that all week long. We're going to be looking at that today at 7, tomorrow at 7, Thursday, Friday, and who knows, I might do it on Saturday as well. But just put it in the chat for me. Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to 30. And it's a story, and it says it here, for it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. The one who received 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also the one who had 2 talents made 2 more. But he who received 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Right? That's the verse I want to end with. He hid his master's money. And here's what I've recognized. Those of us who are trying to be super humble and not talk about what we have in such a grand way, those of us who do that, we have more in common with the one talent servant than we want to admit. We may not sound like him at the end, right? We mask ours under very spiritual language. We use very religious talk, but our actions match his actions. And the point of it is we hide just like he hid. We hide what we have just like he hid what he had. The person who was given 5 worked it. The person who was given 2 worked it. The person who was given 1 hid his talent. And a lot of us, when we talk about, I'm just trying to be humble, I don't have what that person has, all of it really leads to us hiding the thing that we have. And I just want to release someone today that you do not have to play into the game of, I'll be more humble than the last person. So when they say they can't talk very well, I'll tell them I can't talk as well as you. And we do that game. I just want to release you that you do not have to play that game of super humility, because it leads you to hiding the thing that God has given you. And that is not the will that God has for the thing that he's given you. And so I want to talk today and to really stir you up to use what you have. And I want to tell you that one of the reasons we hide, right? We hide behind false humility. One of the reasons we hide is because we don't know the value of what we have. And I'll say it in a you format. You don't know the value of what you have. I think as we look at the story here, one of the things that is evident to us is that this master gives out 5 talents, 2 talents, and 1 talent. And I think one of the things that, as you look at it, where we just see the numbers 5, 2, 1, and we don't bank in talents. We don't operate our finances in talents. So we don't understand just how much riches, how much fortune was given to each person. But let's just understand that it was a huge sum of money. This master right here has given each person a huge sum of money. And one of the traps that I'm sure that person could have fallen into, and maybe you and I fall into, is when we receive what we've received, we immediately look over our shoulder, we look down, we look across at someone else to see what they've been given. And we compare 1 to 2 and 2 to 5 or 1 to 5. And we do that comparison. And based on the 1 that we have, the 5 that someone has, our 1 looks small. Based on what someone else is doing, what we have looks insignificant. Based on how someone else is talking and showing up, how we can talk and how many people we have following us or whatever it is, it looks small. Based on someone else's story and what they've overcome or what they've accomplished, what we've accomplished and what we've done looks small. But I want you to understand, instead of looking out at someone else, keep your eyes on your paper. 1 talent was worth a huge amount back then, and whatever you've been given is worth a huge amount right now. That's something I just want to just say to someone right now. Instead of you comparing what you have to what someone else has, spend some time looking at what you have. One of the reasons we hide is we're always looking at what someone else is doing. And what you don't recognize is by looking at what someone else is doing, it actually takes your energy and your focus from what you should be doing, which is the thing that you've been given. So 1 talent is equal to a whole lot. I just want to say to someone, you've been given a whole lot. Here's some of the things you've been given. You've been given gifts, which are natural things that you do. There's some things that you right now, the person listening to me, you are good at doing that thing, and you cannot explain to anyone how you became good at doing it. You might be able to get into a room, Van Dion, and work a room and bring people together. And you didn't go anywhere to learn that. You just have that as a gift. Now, let me just go to the other side, because someone said, I can't do that. You are able to step into a space and focus in on one person and hear their story and really just allow them to open up. And you have the gift of people opening up to you. That is a gift. And each person is given a gift. And one of the things I want you to understand is you have something valuable because it's been given by God. But another thing that you have is your story. Now, this is really, and I've heard my friend Robert Kennedy say this, my story is my superpower. Your story is your superpower. It is your differentiator. It is the thing that makes you different from everyone else, separates you from anyone else doing the same thing or something similar to what you're doing, because your story makes you unique. And I believe that the God we serve allows us to go through different things in order to bring the oil out of us, to bring the value out of us, to help us to see truly what we have. And so what I want you to understand is, yes, you've been given gifts, but you've also taken a journey, and that's produced a story. And your story gives value and has value. And many times we don't see the value of our story. But here is when you'll recognize the value of your story: when you encounter someone else who has a similar story, who is a little bit further back in the journey, and who needs the inspiration, who needs the knowledge, who needs the instruction, who needs the empowerment that you've gained from your story. So everyone has something valuable. In fact, you have something valuable. And I want you to recognize that you have something valuable. See, what's so challenging about this story, about the parable, is a lot of times we try to say what the talent could be and the talent. But here's what I just want you to understand: you have something. You have something. And what can be challenging for us is to be able to state what that something is, and to be able to describe what that something is, and to be able to articulate what that something is. And one of the things I've believed and I've grown to understand is, it's in the using of the thing that you recognize what that thing was. It's in the small steps of taking action with what you have that what you have becomes clearer to you. It's in the, I know I have this, but I don't know the rest of it. So I'm going to use what I know I have. And as I use it, I begin to become more aware of, wow, this is what I've been sitting on all along. And so one of the things that I want to just encourage you is the use of your thing allows you to understand what your thing is. So while you might be sitting back thinking, I don't really know it, so I won't do anything, do something with what you know, and then you'll figure out what you have. Do something. If that doing something is starting something small, start that something small. And as you start it, you begin to get clearer, you begin to get more understanding, and you now begin to use even more of it. See, the story of this parable here really speaks to a lot of us, again, who have that super humble thing going on, and we are hiding what God gave us, and we minimize what we have. But there's something I want to show you in this parable. And Van Dion, you got me. Do something with what you have. Do something. And here is something I want to show you that God showed me this morning. The reason that we hide is you don't know what you have. You don't know what you have. But I want to fast forward to the end of this parable. I may not have a chance to put this on the screen, but here is the end of this. And I'll be back tomorrow to share reason number 2 why we hide what we have. But I'll fast forward to the end. At the end, the master comes back. The person with 5 shows he had 10. Person with 2 shows that he has 4. The person with 1 hid it in the ground, brings back just the 1. The master gets upset. And the master says this to him in verse 25, verse 26. But the master answered him, you wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown, I gather where I scattered no seed. Here's verse 27. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I would have received what was mine with interest. I would have received what was my own with interest. I need someone to put the word interest in the chat. Just put the word interest in the comments. Put the word interest in the comments. Put the word interest in the comments. That stuck out to me. So A lot of us, we are hiding what God has given us. And particularly, I speak to people who are faith driven, that God has given you something that you can use to build something of your own. That's you being able to write a book. That's you being able to start your own business, you being able to get out there and to speak. And a lot of people that I'm speaking to, they hide what they have and then they use religious language like being humble, not wanting to do too much, not wanting to whatever, right? Be proud. We use that as our excuse for hiding. And I just want to tell you, stop being humble. You've heard me talk about that. But the word that I want to just say to someone this morning as you get ready to go to work and you're getting ready to do is that word interest. The master said, even if you did not want to do what the others did, you had another option, which is to invest my money with the bankers. And when I came back, I would receive interest. Dr. K, good morning. Interest. And here is what interest is. Interest is, so basically, he could have taken that money, gone to the bank. The bank would have seen the value of that one talent, taken it from him, and then given him extra interest, right? The money that makes money. So you're not working for the money, money's working for you. This is the what's paid to you for the value of holding on to your money. The reason why the banker can give you interest, Crystal, is that there's someone who is going to borrow from the banker and use that money for some purpose that they have. And they are willing to pay a premium for the use of the money from the banker. So the banker can pay the person who gives the money to them, because there are other people who borrow it from the banker and pay them interest for it. And what it simply says is that other people are able to use what you have and see the value of it, to just have limited access to it, and they are willing to give you something for it, because you giving them access to what you had, even for a limited time, makes a difference for them. Think about this. You borrow money from the bank so you can go get a house. That's you getting access to that money for a time so you can level up with where you're living. You can level up with what you're driving. You can level up with whatever, right? You wanted to start a business. And you pay them interest for access to what they are giving you so it can accelerate what you're doing. And what some of us don't recognize is there are people right now who want access to what you have, because what you have will make a difference in their lives. And you don't see it because you're so close to it, and you think to yourself, this isn't going to do anything for anyone. This thing isn't a big deal. But this principle of interest says that if you give someone else access to it, it will make such a difference in their lives that they are willing to pay you for just the limited access to it. And that's what interest is all about. And that is what I need you to understand today. You are hiding what you've been given. You are hiding it because you don't see the value of it. You don't know what you have. But I tell you this, there are investors, right? There's bankers. There are people, even on a ripple effect going away from them, who see it and see it enough that they are willing to give to you just so that they can have access to it for a limited time. They're saying to you, hey, I would love to spend some time hearing your story. And I'll pay you just so that I can hear your story just for a limited time. I want to be able to hear your knowledge. So can I have access to you just for a limited time? And maybe you've been burying that thing because you don't see what it can do in the life of someone else. Well, the master's saying this to you today. Stop hiding what you have, even behind super spiritual, humble language. No, actually begin using it, because there are others who are willing and needing what you have, and they see the value. So I want to encourage you today. Don't hide what you have. Use it because you don't know what you have. In fact, you'll only know what you have when you begin using it. You will only know the value of what you have when you begin using it. It's only when you put it out into the market and someone pays for access to it. And then they share it with someone else who pays them for access to it. And they share it with someone else who pays them for access to it. That you begin to see the thing that I had buried is they're making money and making impact in the world. That's what I've been sitting on. So that's just day one. That is just day one of this series. Yes, Arsenio, stop hiding. It's doing a disservice to people. So tomorrow, I'll be sharing day two. I just feel like God has given me something from this parable, Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to 30. If you have not read the parable, read it. Tomorrow, we'll come talk about reason number two, why I think we hide. And I'm particularly speaking to super spiritual people. I'm talking to the people who we sit in a church every weekend, people who've been sitting in churches for years, and people have been saying to you, you got something. People have been saying to you, you're really good at this. People have been saying to you, I see this in you. And you are afraid to put it out into the marketplace and to build something with it, to finally release that cookbook and to finally release that food business and finally release that whatever it is. And your reason for it is, oh, I'm just being humble. Oh, it's not that big a deal. And you are doing the same thing that servant with the one talent is doing. You're hiding. I'm just going to call it what it is. You are hiding. And I'm here this week to simply say, come out of hiding. Stop hiding what you have. Stop hiding what you have. It's time, Opal, it's time to stop hiding what we have and stop hiding it. And one of the reasons you need to stop hiding it is you don't know the value of what you have. And you will only know the value of what you have when you finally put it out into the world. So let me just say this. I need you to type this in the comments. And I think some of you put some variation. This is for me. I want you to put that. This is for me. Because I know that the temptation is, yeah, I know somebody else, my wife, my husband, my brother, my sister, this person I go to church with, they need this. No, you need this because everyone here is hiding in some way, in some shape, some form. Maybe you're not putting anything out there in terms of content in the world because you look at how many followers you have and you compare it to someone else. Maybe you look at the thing that you have and you see, well, someone else is doing that and they've been doing it longer, so I won't. Maybe you think, oh, well, this is not a big deal because I didn't have to do a whole lot of studying for it. And what I want to just say to you is, this is for you. God's going to challenge you this week. So I want you to read Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to verse 30. Come back tomorrow at 7 a.m. All right? Come back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to talk about reason number two, why we hide. The reason number two, why we hide what we have. That's what we're going to share. Thank you. Thank you. This is for me. I want you to type that. This is for me because I want you to really personalize this and ask yourself, what are the reasons I'm hiding? All right, that's day number one. We will see you tomorrow at the same time, 7 a.m. I won't be long. I just want to really share with you our reasons why we hide and why we need to stop and how God is going to empower us this week to take action. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your day.